Welcome back, one and all, to Thionite Plays Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed. On the last episode, we had a very arduous fight against 25 or 50, depending on one's perspective, Agnian troops in a camp over there. You can see some of them because those are Tetsudos. We have fought a lot of Tetsudos. We will have no shortage of Tetsudo shoulder guns needed for Riku's Minato upgrades because Minato is the class of weapons that A has, and that will probably be explained in the future, hopefully. Maybe, potentially. I really hope it is because I have many questions about you. First and foremost, how did I meet you? Doesn't matter. On the last episode, we reminisced about our sister, and on this episode, it's time for a shindig. We are going to dig our shins into the dirt. Are we going to fight unique monsters? No, because, well, I haven't done anything between episodes. I want to see what this is about, so let's...
Then, what should we do?
We should shindig. That's what we should do. By some miracle, can we upgrade our cross transceiver?
About improving this?
Oh, we just need some flake crystals and then some stuff. We don't have some stuff or flake crystals, which is unfortunate. All right, let's clean our clothes and then get this shindig diggy. Let's dig a hole. Diggy, diggy hole. Rest. Let's see where this story takes us next.
Matthew, I don't suppose you'd mind telling us about your sister. What happened to Nael and so on? I wouldn't want to force you.
No, it's fine. Alright. It happened on the day the city fell. Mobius. Niall! Granddad!
Matthew,
Granddad!
take care of Nael, the future.
Granddad!
It's in your hands, Matthew.
When I came to, I was all cuts and bruises.
Back then, A was the one that nursed me back to life. Found me while traveling, apparently by pure chance.
I see. That's why.
It's not just that. It's him too. The Mobius bastard. I'll wring his neck with my bare hands. I swear it.
You've hardly changed, to my eyes.
You're saying I'm like him. No need to throw it in my face.
So why do you look like that?
Logos was the male persona, and Numa the female one. Ontos was meant to stand somewhere between, forming the Trinity processor. It all adds up to me.
I see. Does Matthew know? So about you and Alpha, what happened? How did you split apart?
It was unforeseen. For that Mobius and man to have that kind of power. To my fortune, it unshackled me from the chains of Ontos.
Chains?
As you may know, and this is surely evident to you, Shulk, but Origin, it's based upon the architecture of Ontos's core.
I heard about that from Melia. A gift from Alvis, she called it.
Ontos was the Arbiter. And thus, was predicated on the existence, or perhaps the opinions, of the others, Logos and Pneuma.
In short, without the two of them present, Ontos was just a machine.
My original, he was shaped by Klaus, and shouldered the man's regret as he was born into that world. Hence, he was able to help you. But he is no longer. The me that is left is just a machine, and machines know no sympathy. That's why he took steps to erase this world. To create a new future in its place, debris of the past, and the noise that permeates the present. Your lives are to him redundant. His conclusion that only new life, that of the people of the city, ought to be preserved. Ontos proclaimed himself Alpha and chose to leave for a new world, shepherding the citizens along with him, while erasing the old world in his wake.
However, N's intrusion caused something of a setback.
That is not all it did. In any case, I was able to separate from Alpha. The memories of traveling with you, and all other faint recollections, they compose me. You could call me his conscience.
So, here's what this conscience or whatever is saying, then. There's no life that deserves to be left behind. All life is worth saving, more or less.
Yes, that's the gist of it. I suspect that if Logos or Pneuma were here now, they would surely say the same thing.
Yeah, I bet. So why tag along with the kid?
You've good reason, don't you?
For Alpha to command some form of power in this world, he needs a body to inhabit. Yes, like how Zanza once lived in you, and Matthew's sister.
What's this? This wind?
Over by the lake.
I've come to fetch you, Matthew. Come. It's time to go.
Okay. Slow your roll there, Futures Redeemed. Drop every bomb. What did I just watch? What was that? Okay. We gotta parse through this. We gotta parse through everything that we... Okay, so they dropped... Remember in the beginning of this episode where I'm like, how did Matthew meet A? I'm sure they'll extrapolate on that in the future. Well, the future is now, in the cutscene directly after that. What? Okay. I need to go back and rewatch that cutscene several times to process everything that I just watched. But initial thoughts. Okay, the Trinity processor was from Klaus's original world, like Zanza's human form. It's like, we all know about Klaus and Zanza. That's neither here nor there. We played Xenoblade 2. We know about the Trinity processor. We've known for a long time that Alvis was Ontos. Okay, and so Pneuma, which is Mithra and Pyra, that's Pneuma, the female iteration of the Trinity processor, and Logos, which is Malos, the male processor, if they're defining it by like the male and the female, and then the one in the middle, Ontos is the one in the middle who is essentially, I suppose it's accurate to say that Ontos, Alvis, is more machine, more processor than either Pneuma or Logos, which is fine. That's perfectly acceptable. Even looking back at his character in Xenoblade 1, he's more machine-y than, human, which is fine. That's expected. But without Logos or Pneuma, without Pyra, Mithra, or Malos, the other Aegises, then there's no humanity. There's no, living conscious aspect, all of that. Apparently, how does N factor into this? Because obviously N, he was the one who essentially, him and Mio, Noah and Mio essentially gave birth to the colony, I guess. Did we ever find out if Mio is Nia's daughter? I was like, is that something that we've set in stone? Because if that was set in stone, then I can see that connection being important. My brain is everywhere trying to connect all of these pieces. But it doesn't, they're important. So N and M, well, N in this particular case, he killed Matthew's grandfather. That released an immense amount of power that I destroyed the city. That was how the first iteration of the city at Hope's Rest was destroyed. And that caused some kind of imbalance, some kind of disconnect with Alvis and A. And it's interesting that everything revolves around that, because A, as she said, is like the conscience of Alvis, and the only thing left of Alvis, Alpha, is an unfeeling, unsympathetic machine who just... It's an interesting thing that his goal is still to preserve life, but only new life. The life of the people in the city, the citizens, the ones that exist outside of Mobius's cycle. Because if we're going to generalize this, then Mobius's cycle is essentially Bionis and Allrest. Because when Klaus, one step closer to the divine and split the world, like all of that kind of nonsense was like flung off to far distant dimensions, and that's fine. And then the entire intersection was like those worlds recombining, and then like the sum to Ionios, the sum total of both of those worlds gave rise to Mobius. So the Mobius's cycle, the entire cycle Z, what he propagates, the endless now, that's essentially Bionis and Allrest, the worlds of Xenoblade 1 and 2. And if that's the case, then the only new life that would exist would come from the things that are born outside of that cycle, thus, the city and all of that. But I don't know where I'm going with this. Alvis, I suppose I should call him Alpha. Alpha can't exist in this world without a host. So he's taken over Nael's body. He's pulled a Zanza, which is why A, don't go to sleep on me, which is why A brought up that point, because she was like, what Zanza did to you is what Alpha, is doing to Nael. So I suppose it's not out of the realm of possibility that we could still save her. This is curious. I've been waiting for a giant deposit, a bomb of information from because that singular cutscene just brought like all of the that's massive spoilers for 1 and 2 in a single. It's like, oh, that's crazy cutscenes. All right, my initial thoughts on that cutscene was like, oh, it was really by chance that A found Matthew? It's like, there's no way it was by chance. And I'm like, okay, we're just gonna gloss over that because there are a million other things to talk. That was insane. That was insane. Save current progress. Yes, please. I'm just stoked. I will say, being able to do live, on the fly theory crafting about this, pontificating about where things are going to go in the plot and how things like this are happening at this very moment in time is pretty insane to me, because I very, very rarely, I can't even remember the last time I had an experience like this. And being able to record it on the channel is just, I love the fact that I can record this and have these revelations live for the first time and being able to look back on them. It's just, I really relish the opportunity to do this. And I'm like, I don't get the opportunity to do this kind of stuff with many, if not all, new games, because I really, really love Xenoblade 1 and Xenoblade 2. I really love this entire franchise. So being able to think about these questions and like, how does every plot point relate to every other from like 3 entire games? And I'm like, it's a rare experience, and I'm loving every second of this.
Okay, it's all backed up.
This is so I'm loving I am loving this is so far this is probably my favorite episode just because you brought like you've name dropped Zanza, the Trinity processor, Alvis, odds, you bring in all of the stuff from like the entirety of Xenoblade 1 and 2 into this, and I'm like, finally, this is what I'm after with Future Redeemed. Let's see how this continues. Level 1, Diastone Ferris. Interesting that, why are we, this is clearly a flashback, but it's very intriguing that everyone is silent. There's no in-battle, you know, mighty strike. Okay, so we got some screaming, but that's, is that it? This is intriguing, and we get to fight with Nael. She's an attacker, which I suppose makes sense. Very curious about where this is gonna go.
Are you alright, Niall?
I'm fine.
What were those things all about? They were giving me Mobius Scrab vibes, but they weren't the same.
Matthew! What happened?
Ah, hey, Oren. It's fine. We're all good.
Was it Mobius?
Nah, some new kind of breed of monster. Took them down, and they vanished into thin air.
Don't scare me like that. I thought, since you used the Ouroboros power, it had to be Mobius.
Come on, that's crazy talk. It's been like 15 years since we last tussled with Mobius.
Yeah, I suppose so.
How are we for ether?
See for yourself.
Right on. So it looks like we've met the quota. Shall we head? Niall?
Mm. Hmm?
Let us away, towards a new world, out with the old, and in once more with the new.
Niall? What's the matter with you? Shake a leg.
Sorry. Coming.
Niall, what were you up to back there?
Huh?
You were kind of spaced out.
Not really. Matthew.
What's up?
It's Matthew. Listen, we could do with a little help over here. Bit of a snafu.
Wolf, say?
More of them than we expected.
No rest for the wicked. Copy that. I'll head over. You want me at Day Delisle, right?
That's it. Thanks. Dylan, eh?
Yeah. Says they're having trouble with Wolves. Gonna lend him a hand.
Damn, they've really been multiplying.
Sure looks like it. My bad, Niall. I'll catch you up later.
Okay.
Let us away, towards a new world. Out with the old, and in once more with the new.
It has been over a decade since Alpha seized Origin. Let's see if he intends to show himself at last. While Origin remains in Alpha's clutches, my will cannot extend beyond its threshold. I trust you will set forth once more. Sword of the End. That which denies fate and makes its essence mercurial. What machinations could have led it into that man's grasp? I see Origin brims with the very will of those who are as unto gods.
Niall! I thought you were dead. I'm so glad. I was so sure I thought I'd really lost you for good this time. What's up with that outfit, huh? Where'd you pick up a weird get-up like...
Matthew, no! It's not her!
Huh? Not Niall. But it clearly is. How can you not recognize her? Oh, of course. You've never met her before. Hang on, I should have a photo.
Matthew, look at me. The person you see before you isn't Nael. It is in part, but not wholly. Inside of her is Alpha.
Huh? Not you too, eh? What is this? Who is this Alpha guy, anyway? I don't understand.
What are you doing? Come quickly. Everyone's waiting. Matthew.
Niall, hold up a minute, yeah? Seems there's something really confusing going on here.
Alpha suddenly appeared one day, with the goal of destroying this world. Rex and I, and Zed too, we fought against Alpha, to save the world from his rancor. Alpha's power is unparalleled. For all our efforts, it wasn't enough. Even our collective might failed to repel him. In the end, all we managed was to buy a fraction more time.
Having tasted frustration in battle, Alpha understood. He realized he needed something to amplify his power. An avatar. Nael is the avatar, Matthew. The day the city fell, you didn't lose Nael because she went missing. Rather, she had become Alpha's vessel.
No. Come on, A, not you two. I can't. What the hell is this? Can you stop making shit up?
There'll be time for explaining later. For now, you gotta give her a real drubbing.
Huh? Drubbing?
Not that violent. If at all possible, we will free Nael.
And if it's not?
If it's not, then better buckle up, kid.
You can't be bloody serious!
You are in the way of our vision.
Nael.
Say, what's so great about this world? Really? All the thieving for one's own gain, the greed. Life has less value in this world than a piece of dirt. This is your world of peace. We don't need it. Do we, Matthew? Answer. You disappoint me, truly. I didn't think you'd side with them.
I haven't. I'm just...
Enough of this. We will simply go alone then.
Niall!
Goodbye, my brother. If you
Well,
aim to obstruct me,
I suppose we're right into a fight. Level 33, Nael / Alpha. Well, I suppose there's only one thing to do, and that's win this fight. Well, we'll treat this as no different than any other fight. We gotta get the breaks, the launches, and the topples. This is going to be interesting, isn't it? Okay. Also, some more things to talk about. Apparently, Zed lost control or didn't have complete control over Origin because Alpha took over. That's incredibly interesting because the combined efforts of Shulk, Rex, and Zed, the combined efforts of everyone in Bionis and Allrest, because symbolically, that's what it would be. Zed represents pretty much the emotions, like the desire for more time from everyone in Bionis and Allrest. But, we get Smash, go for Smash. And if they weren't enough, if they were only able to accomplish just buying an extra little bit of time, I suppose Nael would be the best candidate for a vessel because she didn't like this world. That seems like such an inadequate way of saying what she felt. I am so very, very curious about where we're going next. Because I do feel like we would be able to free Nael, but at what cost? Because if we remember back to Xenoblade 1, the only way we were able to free Shulk from Zanza was for Dixon to shoot him in the back after literally making a tentative peace between Bionis and Mechonis. And I feel like if we're going to have to in some way kill Nael to separate her from Alvis, what kind of situation is going to spawn that? What's going to be the catalyst? It can't be this fight. There's no way that this is the fight that we separate them. They're just introducing Nael to the story at this point. There's no way they do that. I don't believe that. Do we want to get a chain attack? It looks like they don't have a terrible amount of hugely damaging arts. It looks like, I know Shulk went down at one point. Compound Force. That looks like a single target multi-hit move, because it looked like it only focused down on Nickel, but I think it might have done a little bit of damage to A. Again, this is a completely blind playthrough, so I have no idea how much, or like what kind of stats or moves or anything like this. Let's go for the chain attack. We need to get some heals going on Shulk, or Nicole and Rex. Let's go for Avalanche Onslaught. There's no way that this chain attack is going to be nearly enough, but if we can get a break, if we can get like that kind of system, break, topple, launch, then would be good. Multiplies, oh, that's in first. Doesn't Shulk go for break? It's resisted, so it's probably, it's gotta be more, The break resistance is probably more than 50%. I'd say probably like 70 to 80 if I had to take a blind guess. Avalanche Onslaught. All of this is very interesting. So, Nael got their core crystal, or Alvis's, like the Trinity processor core crystal. Oh, we need to focus on healing, right, of course. Matthew is paired up with Nicole. Rex, I want to pair up with A, so let's do Rex. And then we'll focus down on Matthew to get break, hopefully. Got the break, pretty nice. And then we can focus on our healers, and then Rex. Oh, no. Well, Rex is already taken care of. That's fine. But Nael found Alvis's core crystal. I wonder if that was an intentional play I wonder... It would have had to have been an intentional play. Heals allies for 50% HP and grants to regenerate. Yeah, that's the play. That's good. It would have had to been intentional because... Go for topple, yeah. If it wasn't intentional, then it would be an act of godly providence in how lucky that was. Great Garland. Yeah, focus on that. Oh, that was not enough heals. Oh, probably because A didn't get the heal. It doesn't matter. Go for... Oh, we don't have launch. That's fine. We'll be able to get launch in the Ouroboros. Not Ouroboros, the fusion combo thing. Doesn't matter. Blaze shot. Go for it, Rex. It's just interesting how this is all playing out. It's very intriguing how all of this is playing out. There's probably, I will say, there's probably some details that I'm just forgetting about or overlooking because there's a lot to absorb in this particular section of game. Man, I am extremely glad I didn't do this shindig in the last episode because we would be here for like 2 hours. It doesn't matter. Let's go with Nicole for the launch because if we get the launch going inside the chain attack, by the time we finish it, we will also have like the Deliverance Flash will also apply. I believe it's Smash. I believe Rex and A, when paired together, get a Smash art, so that's fine by me. And our heals are doing good, so let's just go for Mighty Boost. Get that power charge. Give me that delicious power charge. 200%, that's pretty good. Our total damage is a flat 600 extra percent. So that should, at the very least, get them down to below their enraged status, which is good. That's a fair bit of damage. Plus the smash. Oh, it's a burst. That's pretty good. That's a lot of damage, but we need to get another burst now. Lightning Bash. Oh, that's an AoE right in front of them, and it put them to sleep. Interesting. Divine Blaster. Ooh, that seems like a pretty terrifying move. That was again another line AoE. Lots of power. Still resisted to break, so they probably, once they got enraged, had a lot more resistance. Or not a lot, it could be the exact same. Oh, Bounding Ray, that's an AoE all around them, it looked like. Lasers, she's a fan of lasers. Got the break, that's good. Can someone get... We got the topple, very good. Launch, go for... Oh, no one has a burst art. Oh, come on. Come on, Slash Bomb. Nice, just barely got it. If we can remove the enraged status, that's good. Rex, A, take care of this. Slash Bombs, burst. Very good. Very, very good. I'll definitely take that. And she moves around a lot, so that's intriguing. So she knows how to position herself. That's fine by me. Go for Energy Boost. Get Power Charge. Go for the special. Rex is down, but that's not fine. Or, well, it's fine, because we've prioritized getting our stats on our healers up a lot, so we should be good on that front. Will we get another chain attack? Oh, A's down. That's not good. Glimmer, you need to get A up as soon as possible. We got the topple. Very nice. We got the launch. Go for smash. Perfect. That'll be pretty good. How much extra damage is the smash gonna give? Not a lot. Not a lot. We got the chain attack. We got our chain attack back. Let's do this again. More chain attack. We should be able to KO her with this chain attack. Let's do... Increases damage ratio by 100% and grants power charge. Let's do Shulk. Yeah, Liberation Edge is very powerful. And if... Oh, wow. Glad we did that chain attack because that damage would have been bad. A and Glimmer both took a lot of damage from that. Let's do Shulk on the off chance that we get the break. Still resisted, but that's fine. And then we can do Rex for double spinning bash. Lots of damage, still resisted on the debuffs, but that's fine. We can manage from this. We can manage. And if we can get the break at any point in this, that'll be really good, because I really, really want that. But even if we don't, we should be fine. Do Avalanche Onslaught. That'll give us a lot more extra damage from Unblockable. Again, go for Break. Still resisted. That's fine. We can manage. We can manage. Nickel, I need you to go for Blitz Wind. Get that AoE and as much damage. Or at the very least, bring Matthew back. Because Matthew is both very high damage as well as the opportunity to get Break. So that's definitely what I want to focus on in this.
How do we play this?
Shulk, Matthew. Shulk and Matthew, which means Glimmer or Nicole. So I'm going to go with... Ooh, I'm going to go with Glimmer.
I got it.
Still go for Break. Still resisted, but that's fine. That's fine. It's fine. We should still be good. We should still be good with this. I still believe that this chain attack will allow us to beat Nael. Pretty good damage. Pretty good damage. So Rex or Shulk is the one who comes back, or well, everyone comes back because it's this, but that's fine. Let's do Shulk first on the off chance that we get the break. Still resisted, but that's fine. I have no problem with that. And then let's just keep doing Matthew. A's down. We should have focused on healing, I suppose, but Glimmer is full on HP, so I'm not too terribly fussed about it.
Here I go.
And I suppose it's all a moot point anyway if we can get that KO. There's the overkill. Perfect. Victory for us.
Bastard! That's a hell of a lot more power than before.
It's the Avatar. Her emotions are heightened. They're feeding straight into Alpha's power.
Niall! Hey, stop this! Please, just stop! Huh? No, not him.
N.
If raw emotion is what affords him strength, it must be disrupted with emotion stronger still. You fail to reach such a zenith. Alpha. I, N, shall thwart you once more. My blade will cut your very will!
Sword of the End is gonna use it.
Sure about that? I am Niall, you know.
I am divorced of all that. All doubts. Misgivings gone!
Wait, what? Who are we fighting right now? We can't fight Niall. We're only fighting Mobius. And we're alone? Alright. This is unexpected. All of this is... Okay, why are you fighting me? Why did you inflict bleed on me? None of this is... Okay, well, we're not fighting Niall right now, which I suppose... I don't know how to feel about it. Okay, energy boost, go for this, and then get break, I guess. We are not doing well. We've got bleed. He's focusing down on us. We're probably expected to lose this fight. Probably. Yeah.
Not... Oh...
Help me. Matthew.
This again, Alpha. Really? Niall! It is over. No! Stop!
It's you.
Like killing Grandad wasn't enough for you? Now Niall, too! Huh? The hell you playing at, eh? Why?
You must not lash out at him. Matthew. He's not your enemy. I promise you.
Stop talking shite! He's trying to kill Niall! He killed Grandad! And you're...
He is your flesh and blood.
What? Impossible. Can't be!
Yet, it was this man who tried to erase me. He is the one to blame.
Niall.
They're strong. Your emotions. Stronger even than my own. Think you've bought yourself some time?
We may not have much, but it's more than we need to erase you.
Quite. Well then, I'm happy to wait. For you both, yes?
Origin? What's it doing here?
It must be Alpha's doing.
All it means is that we don't have a whole lot of time to spare.
What?
Eternity.
Sorry?
My due. In return for protecting this world, Zed promised me eternity. An eternal present in which to abide.
Zed? Is that the Mobius head honcho? What do you even do with eternity? For starters, you Mobius... Bastard. That's the reason for this.
I'm sure you plan to pursue them. And yet I will not let you reach them. Before you can interpose yourself, I will cut Alpha down. You do well to remember that.
You serious? Even now? She's your flesh and blood too!
Matthew. Come on, let's go back to base and regroup. We'll tell you everything we know.
Damn straight. I'm done being kept in the dark. About time you let me into the club.
Let's stop by the command center. We can talk there in peace and quiet.
Fine.
Well, how about that for an episode? Oh my goodness gracious. It feels like we haven't moved from this spot in the slightest, which I suppose is fine. We're going to be ending this episode off here. Okay, we have things to think about. This was quite the episode. This was quite the story-intensive episode. So N intervened, did some pretty sizable damage to Nael's Alpha's core crystal. I find it extremely intriguing that they made a very specific point to note that N's emotions were stronger than Alpha's, which I suppose makes sense. Because in the base game, in the main Xenoblade 3, N is basically ruled completely and entirely by despair. Like that is literally what he as a person is made up of. Because if you remember at the end of relatively close in the concluding chapters of 3, we essentially come to the realization that Mio and Noah are just different aspects of N and M, where N and M are like despair and hopelessness and all those Mobius-related emotions. Mio and Noah are like hope and love and all like the positive, we gotta fight to protect type of emotions. And if that's the case, it really speaks to how deep N as a character feel like his despair, and I suppose in a way his love of Mio, M, I suppose, like how far he'd be willing to go to fight and protect like eternity. That you know what Zed promised him, that endless now with Mio. And another thing, what does Prison Island have to do with Origin? I mean, I suppose Prison Island is pretty important to the lore of Xenoblade 1, you know, like Zanza and I guess Elvis as well, and the High Entia. And I suppose the High Entia, like Melia, are technically rather important to Origin, but it's really where can we see them? It's really interesting. It's really interesting how it's here now, because Shulk didn't seem to be expecting it, as if he knew it should be somewhere else, because because Shulk, knowing Melia, would have to be in some way, shape, or form aware of Origin, because I refuse to believe that Origin would exist without some kind of input from Mr. Machine Mechanist Shulk himself. Because that's always been a headcanon of mine. Like, it would have been like Shulk and the Machina and people with like expertise of like the Monados and the Mechanists and all of that, who would be like helping design and build their half of Origin. Because if we remember back to 3 and the lore of Origin, they built it in two halves, one half in Bionis and the other half in Allrest, where, you know, Melia and Nia, it's like the two wings of Ionios, or whatever the official term was. It doesn't really matter. It just felt like Shulk expected it to be somewhere else, or at the very least not in play at this moment, because in this moment it doesn't seem like Zed or Mobius would have control of Origin, or at the very least not enough of a control to exert his will over the entirety of Ionios, because it seemed like from that cutscene that Zed only has control of Origin inside Origin, which I suppose would explain why he's able to like still have Pharaonis's and, you know, like control the Keves and Agnes and that kind of stuff. But I suppose it's like Alvis Alpha exists as like a way of stopping him, like a preventative measure from exerting complete control over Ionios. It's like a thorn in his side. Like there's three forces, three factions in Ionios in Future Redeemed. There's the Liberators in, like, the city, like, everyone who's free. There's Mobius, which is Agnes and Kevas. And then there's Alpha, and I suppose, consequently, Nael as well. Because in that fight, we weren't fighting Nael, we were fighting N, but N didn't deign to kill us then and there. Because I have no doubt that N, in all of his power and Mobius' strength, could have killed us. Although, with A stopped us. Which I suppose is another thing in and of itself, because A, if essentially acting under the impression that Alvis and A are the exact same being, just, A is, the consciousness of Alvis who remembers all of his adventures and the story and everything he experienced with Shulk and Bionis, with Zanza and the Trinity and all of that. She would have his foresight, because as an Aegis, I suppose it's less to do with as an Aegis and more to do with, let's just call it being an Aegis. He would have that foresight, and we know already that A has foresight, but does she have foresight powerful enough to know how important N is going to be to the events of the main game with Noah and Mio and Ouroboros proper? Because if you told me she did, I would not be shocked at all. I absolutely would agree with that particular point, because she stopped us from even attempting to fight him. I don't think we would have won. We might have been able to do something, because N didn't seem like he wanted to fight, quote unquote. I have no doubt he would have killed us if a fight did arise, but he didn't actively seek one out. I suppose his priorities lie a bit higher up. All of this is what I absolutely love about this experience. Playing Future Redeemed completely blind. Being able to just theorize and think about all of these plot points and how all of the characters relate together. I cannot wait for the next episode where we get Shulk and Rex's and presumably A's perspective about Origin and Mobius and Alpha and all of this nonsense. It's going to be, stay tuned for next episode. But we're going to end this bombshell of an episode off here, right where we began, at the lakeside camp. I suppose, I know I promised an affinity scene in every episode, but I feel like this episode has a lot going for it. Let's just take a breath and think about, let all of these revelations settle. So, that's going to be it for this episode. So whether you watched it for 30 seconds or the entire thing, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you on the next episode of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed. Later.